Caitlin Clark's return, lads. Caitlin Clark's return. On ABC, nationally televised game.
Guys, Caitlin Clark is officially back, okay, for the Indiana Fever. Guys, the Indiana Fever just gave the freaking New York Liberty their first L. Their first L of the season. I was wondering, I'm like, who is it going?
Caitlin Clark just casually dropped 32 points like it was nothing. And guess who felt the sting? The previously undefeated New York Liberty. That's right, the Indiana Fever came out swinging. Was this a basketball game or Caitlin's personal mission for payback? Either way, she showed up with fire, flair, and pure dominance on the court. This wasn't just a win, it was a full-blown blockbuster. And Clark? She starred in every single role.
Back again. Caitlin's back. Tell Caitlin Clark Kent back in action. Where do I even start? 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 threes, 11 for 20 in only 31 minutes of basketball. The Indiana Fever say, come on, New York. Come on. Somebody's got to give you this first L, and I guess it's going to be us.
Caitlin Clark didn't just step onto the court. She arrived locked in like a sniper, armed with a cannon for a shooting arm, and zero concern for the laws of physics. She was pulling up from deep. Scratch that. Way beyond deep. Like 30 yards out. Easy. Honestly, someone should double-check if she's supposed to be at an NFL training camp, because those shots were launched from another area code. And don't mistake them for desperate heaves. They were laser-focused missiles, delivered with ruthless precision.
That's how you feel, Caitlin, after missing 4 games from a quad injury? That's how you feel when you come back? What the hell did we just watch? Caitlin Clark in her absolute Birkin, able to get her team a victory over the undefeated New York Liberty. Let's talk about it. So as I discussed before, Caitlin Clark, this is her first game back in 4 or 5 games after dealing with the quad injury. And she did not disappoint. Came out with 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, almost a triple-double. But 7 3-pointers, y'all. And she was hitting them from 40 feet. Like, she was literally shooting from anywhere.
32 points. Let that sink in. That wasn't just a game. It was a one-woman Broadway production. Sold out. And every scene ended with the net snapping. She matched her career high in 3-pointers and made it look effortless, like she was just getting loose. Blink once, and she's launching from the logo like it's nothing. Meanwhile, the Liberty, the once undefeated darlings of the WNBA, looked less like competitors and more like background characters in the Caitlin Clark show.
And most elite performances we have ever seen from Caitlin Clark. Now, I gotta remind everybody about this. Caitlin Clark is coming off an injury, bro. What we seen today was greatness. This was similar to the Michael Jordan flu game. I mean, it's up there type deal, bro. Caitlin Clark just handed the New York Liberty the ass whooping of a lifetime. And what's crazy about all of this is that the referees couldn't even save them. See, last time the referees was able to save New York and they walked away with the victory.
Meanwhile, not too far away, okay, in the same building, Angel Reese was doing what she does best, grabbing rebounds like she's stockpiling for winter, snatching boards, tossing the ball around like it's light work, and striking poses that might land her a modeling deal. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for more awesome content. Thanks. She finished with 10 rebounds, 4 points, and plenty of signature flair. Ask her, and she'll tell you, she's still the headliner, the crown jewel of the show.
Alright guys, Caitlin Clark is back in the WNBA today, and I could not be happier. And to start off the game with the New York Liberty, she is putting on a show. First clip we're going to watch here is Sabrina Ionescu missing a 3 because she wants to be Caitlin and she just isn't. And look at this dime of a pass. Oh my gosh, can you just be a quarterback already? But then it gets better. Caitlin goes on a 9-0 run by herself within the span of 50 seconds.
She might call herself the face of the league, but while Caitlin Clark lit up the court like a 4th of July finale, Angel Reese was busy reminding everyone she brings the flavor. Here's the kicker. Reese is out there like a walking double-double of confidence and hustle, but the scoreboard forgot to include her in the celebration. Her shot chart. Pure horror show. Red everywhere, but nothing dropping. She was under the rim tossing up bricks like she's laying the foundation for a new arena. But hey, she pulled down rebounds, the kind that say, "Don't worry, team, I got the miss, again." While Clark's playing 5D chess, dropping logo threes with Steph Curry flair, Reese looks like she's playing Hungry Hungry Hippos with the glass. And yet, she keeps talking like the WNBA revolves around her manicured fingertips. To be fair, she's not wrong. People are watching. But the real question is, are they tuning in for the buckets or the drama? Because Clark's putting on a scoring clinic. And Reese? She's giving us WWE energy with none of the highlights to back it up.
To 88, we finally hit triple digits thanks to CC22. Caitlin Clark, folks, 3 threes in 38 seconds in the first half. Caitlin Clark hit 3 logo bombs, by the way. 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. This was the Caitlin Clark we all said, oh, she's different. She's sent from outer space. The Caitlin Clark that we saw today was the Caitlin Clark that we were accustomed to seeing. Oh, it feels...
There's a big difference between being talked about and being watched. Caitlin Clark is watched every game, every possession. The moment she crosses half court, defenders tense up and fans hold their breath like they are on a roller coaster. Angel Reese? She's talked about. For the theatrics, the poses, the rivalry with Caitlin that at this point feels more like a one-sided journal entry. Let's be real, you can't stack up a few rebounds, add a mean mug, and call it superstardom. The game still matters. The scoreboard still matters. The shot clock doesn't pause for attitude. Clark didn't just show up, she took over. She wasn't stat padding, she was rewriting the narrative. Meanwhile, Reese looked like a motivational speaker trapped in a power forward's body, preaching her impact while bricking layups like it was some side gig. Clark's three-pointers weren't just buckets, they were backbreakers. Not just for the Liberty, but for anyone who thought she'd fade out after a shaky start to her rookie year. Guess what? She's locked in now. The vision is clearer, the spacing is smarter, and the shots? Just ridiculous. We're talking long-range missiles, Steph Curry level bombs that need a flight plan. Every time she launched, it was like time stood still. The crowd gasped. Defenders flinched. Commentators lost their minds. That kind of reaction? That's not hype. That's box office.
Would you look at that? Caitlin Clark putting another game together that proves that she is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. And definitely not because of Angel Reese. In her very first game back from injury, she puts up 32, 8, and 9. Okay? Super close to a triple-double on over 50% shooting from the field and 50% shooting from the three-point line. And not only did she have a great performance, but she also led her team to a 14-point victory, so not even a close game, against a team that was previously undefeated and arguably the best team in the WNBA on her first game back.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese could sink a shot and half the crowd might still be scrolling on their phones. That's not superstardom, that's background noise. Let's talk swagger. Caitlin Clark has that quiet, lethal kind. The kind where she drains a deep three and jogs back like she's already thinking about what's for dinner. Reese, on the other hand, has enough bravado to power a small nation. But the scoreboard doesn't lie. You can't strut your way out of a single-digit stat line and call it dominance. You can't flex after every missed jumper and expect the crowd to believe it. Caitlin's confidence? It's built on buckets. Reese's? It's built on branding. And that's a massive difference. Clark isn't just making noise, she's making history. Rookie records? She's rewriting them. Viewership? She's elevating it. She's not just in the league, she's putting the basketball back in women's basketball. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is running the slickest PR campaign the scoreboard has never heard of. If hype were a stat, she'd be averaging 40. But fans aren't just watching the interviews, they are watching the games. And the gap is growing. Caitlin Clark is evolving with every matchup, slicing up defenses, making defenders look like traffic cones, and dragging the Indiana Fever from bottom feeders to giant killers. Her passes are precise, her movement elite, and her confidence? Radioactive. All while carrying the weight of a league spotlight and half the country's attention. Angel Reese? She's still boxing out like the rim owes her money and shooting like the net has a restraining order.
This is under fire from the Chicago Sky general manager. The general manager names Angel Reese by name and says, "We need more out of you." Now I'm strolling through Twitter, doing my thing. You guys know how I do. Got the air breezing through my hair in those Twitter streets. I do. And I take a look and I see something that catches my attention. The Chicago Sky make a request to Angel Reese amid losing streak. Interesting. What is this request?
But sure, let's keep pretending this is a rivalry. Let's pretend it's Ali versus Frazier, when in reality it's Caitlin Clark versus her own potential, because at this point, she's her only true competition. The ceiling keeps rising, and she keeps pushing past it. She's not just raising the bar, she's turning it into a launch pad. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still grounded, waving from the rebound pile like she's waiting for an elevator to relevance. It's almost comical now. The constant reminders that it's not just Caitlin feel like that jealous cousin at a birthday party insisting their gift mattered more, even though everyone's huddled around Clark's highlight reel. It's not that Angel doesn't matter. It's that her crown feels premature. You can't declare yourself royalty when the scoreboard keeps disagreeing. Caitlin Clark didn't ask to be the face of the WNBA. She earned it. Shot by shot. Game by gritty game. Even when Indiana was losing, fans still tuned in because Clark was doing things rookies weren't supposed to do. Now she's winning, and doing it by casually dropping 32 on the league's top team like it's just another Tuesday. MIC drop. Sure, Reese brings the headlines. But Clark? She brings the game. So yes, others bring eyes to the WNBA. But let's be honest. Caitlin Clark is the reason people stay. And after missing 4 straight games, a lifetime in basketball, she returned not just refreshed, but reloaded. Like she spent that time off learning a new hobby, torching elite WNBA teams for fun.
Hit the long ball at a very, very high efficiency rate today, 7 for 14 from long distance, shooting 50%. I'm not gonna lie, shooting the three-pointer 14 times is wild in one game. But listen, when you hitting it like that, why not? Lexi Hall, another decent game from her, 14 points, shooting 50% from the field. And then we have Aaliyah Boston with 10 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists. Another almost triple-double for her. Great bounce back game for Indiana because they have severely been struggling without Caitlin. Child, I know they're happy she's back on that floor because they look like a completely different team when she's in.
So what does Caitlin Clark do after a mini break? She strolls back in like she never left, and immediately torches the undefeated Liberty like they were a JV scrimmage. No rust, just pure radioactive dominance. If anything, the time off made her sharper. Those laser-guided threes? Even more dialed in. The mid-air magic? Cleaner than ever. While Caitlin reintroduced herself like a polite hurricane, Angel Reese was still out there rebounding like she's collecting Pokemon cards and tossing up layups that bounce off the rim like they're allergic to going in. There are levels to this game, and Caitlin's playing on a completely different continent. While Angel's grinding for paint points and fighting for scraps, Caitlin's pulling up from the suburbs, espresso in hand, looking defenders dead in the eye like, "You sure you want to be here?" Let's stop sugarcoating it. The whole Reese versus Clark rivalry? Total fiction. A fairy tale spun in a marketing meeting by someone who's clearly never watched an actual quarter of WNBA basketball. Because when you do, it's obvious. Caitlin Clark isn't competing with Angel Reese. She's not even looking in her direction. She's too busy rewriting the WNBA's hierarchy, one logo 3 at a time. Reese might talk like she's sharing the spotlight, but in reality, she's barely in the same arena. Clark is out here making seasoned pros look like traffic cones, delivering passes with surgical precision, controlling the pace like a maestro on a mission, and drilling shots that laugh in the face of physics. Meanwhile, Reese is still trying to finish a putback without tripping over her own narrative.
People who've been unjustly maligned in history. I feel like it's 1-2 for me. I'm not sure who's first and who's second, but it's pretty clearly Angel Reese and Jesus Christ. How does Angel Reese handle it? If you don't want the criticism, maybe consider what the behavior is. Because is this kind of criticism directed at everybody? Or is this a very special, specific kind of criticism that Angel Reese gets because of specifically the way she comports herself. And if her crown is heavy, maybe BET should stop giving her crowns. For the third straight year, named BET Sportswoman of the Year. I haven't even known who Angel Reese was for 3 years. How the does she have 3 of these?
Let's be honest, if this were truly a rivalry, it'd at least be close. But this feels more like a roast, with Caitlin Clark as the roast master and Angel Reese as the bewildered guest wondering why the spotlight keeps burning her. It's not that Angel isn't good. She is. She's gritty. She hustles. She sweats. But Caitlin? Caitlin is great. Not just in terms of skill, but in the way she takes over games like it's a hostile corporate takeover. She doesn't just score, she bends reality to her will. There's a kind of dark comedy in the contrast. Reese puts up a 10-point double-double and does a media victory lap about her impact. Meanwhile, Caitlin drops 32 like it's a TikTok challenge and jogs off the court like she's late for brunch. The difference isn't just in stats, it's in mindset. Caitlin's out here playing chess with a sniper scope, while Reese is still fumbling with a checkers box. And you can see it in their team impact. When Clark is on the floor, the fever level up. They play faster, sharper, and more dangerous. She doesn't just score, she alters the gravity of the game. Defenses collapse on her, spacing opens up, and suddenly it's like she's invented her own version of basketball geometry. Take her off the court? The Fever look lost, like they are just waiting for their Uber to show up. Reese, on the other hand, could pull down 20 rebounds and still vanish from the flow of the game like a dropped Zoom call. She's got boards and bravado, but the impact feels hollow. Like buying a luxury car and realizing there's no engine under the hood. Flashy? Sure. Loud? Definitely. But game-changing? Not so much. The truth? Caitlin Clark makes Angel Reese look like a schoolgirl cosplaying as a superstar. She's outclassed, outpaced, outperformed, in nearly every way that matters.
Against the Connecticut Sun, but this is Caitlin Clark. How could I be so foolish? Caitlin Clark probably said, I want to come back to the most eyeballs possible. You guys are about to see what I'm going to do. I want to come back to the most eyeballs possible. Clear 2 million or more. Yeah, 2 million or more. I want to come back and show you guys what I am made of. She is the only player in the league so far, averaging 20 points per game, 5 rebounds per game or more, 5 assists or more per game. Caitlin Clark is back.
And the wildest part? Caitlin Clark is doing all of this with a calm, almost disrespectful poise. No excessive celebrations. No need for theatrics. Just surgical execution and scoreboard dominance. This isn't a rivalry, it's a clinic. One side is casually hitting deep threes like she's moving in slow motion from outer space, while the other is doing wind sprints under the rim hoping to make a dent. Sure, you can slap a rivalry label on it and try to sell the drama to TV networks, but fans aren't fools. They see the gap. Caitlin Clark's game is poetry with a flamethrower, smooth, efficient, deadly. Angel Reese? She's the background percussion. Nice in theory, barely noticeable in execution. Clark didn't just come back from a break and play well. She returned with intent. With vengeance. And the Liberty didn't just lose, they got schooled. Meanwhile, Reese is still out here chasing rebounds like they are going extinct, all while ignoring the uncomfortable truth. She's being lapped at a speed she simply can't match. Clark's return wasn't just a performance, it was a statement. A message to the league and anyone still trying to sell the not just Caitlin narrative. While others are out here crafting personal brands, Caitlin Clark is crafting a legacy. And you can feel the pressure. Reese keeps pushing though it's not just Caitlin energy like a slogan, but every time Clark steps on the court, that myth gets steamrolled by actual skill.
The last remaining undefeated WNBA team, the New York Liberty, is undefeated no more. They have just been handed their first loss by Caitlin Clark's return and then Indiana Fever in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and wow, was it an electric game. Caitlin Clark absolutely popped off in her return and turned 32 points, 9 points in 33 seconds, like back-to-back-to-back threes. Kelsey Mitchell with another 22. AB had a great game. Lexi Hole had a great game. Sophie Cunningham was back. I rated this one on Rate Game a 9.4. It was that good. If you're not following me on Rate Game, go follow me. It's a fantastic app. You can rate the games, how good they were, what you liked about them, etc.
Every time Caitlin Clark lights up the scoreboard, the myth of a rivalry crumbles just a little more. Reese can yell co-star all she wants, but at this point, she's looking more like the understudy in a sold-out show where Caitlin's name is already on the marquee. And that's the part that stings the most. Not just that Clark is better, but that she's undeniably better. She doesn't need press tours or branding campaigns. Her game is the message. Here's the irony. Angel Reese built her whole image around being the villain, the loud competitor, the unfiltered truth teller. But her game hasn't kept up with the mouth. The bark's still there, but the bite? Missing. Meanwhile, Caitlyn stays cold and clinical, letting the ball do the talking as she quietly dismantles anyone in her path. You don't need a rivalry when one player is already 15 steps ahead. At some point, you've got to call it what it is. Caitlyn Clark isn't in a rivalry. She's on a solo mission, and the rest of the league is just trying to survive the fallout. Angel Reese isn't her foil, she's a footnote. Sure, the hustle's there. The ambition's still burning. But the talent gap? It's wider than ever. Caitlyn's 4-game break didn't slow her down. It unleashed her. She didn't lose rhythm. She found a new one. Faster. Sharper. Unstoppable. And Reese? Still stuck on the same tired beat, hoping no one notices the scoreboard doesn't lie. Because when the buzzer sounds and the dust settles, only one name echoes. Caitlyn Clark. The rest? Background noise.